All right, good morning. Shilow Norton, operations for Team 4. We're going to go around and show you what we've done the last few days. You'll notice some differences on the map. These big dark gray lines that are on the map, we just put those in there so that each division knows which area they're responsible for. A lot of times on fires, we break up the outside and try to keep the fire from coming out, and that's where we're working, is on the outside. During the rehab work that we're doing, most of our work is inside where the containment lines, where they tried to stop the fire at first, and then outside, and then some outside of that. So each one of these polygons just identifies the work area for each of the groups of folks that we have out around the fire. So with that, starting in what we're calling Division Alpha, which is this whole area right here, we have the Guyanus Creek that comes up in here. Some logs were placed in that stream, and some of them, whenever they were cutting the hazards, were dropped in the stream. They're going to try to get some of those out, so they got some winching, and they got some cable ordered and stuff like that. They're going to try to pull some of those trees up out of the drainage, and then they got a crew in there to help cut, and they're going to pull some of that material out by hand, get it up out of the drainage, and just try to keep some of that stuff from flooding down and damming up the water. Especially, there's some old CCC type bridges and some pretty neat infrastructure that we want to try to protect, and so that's what they're working on today. They also have been working with the landowners in here, and then some of the landowners down in this direction and up in here. And that's based off of the QR code stuff that we've been talking about. And if you go to the link, you can get in on that QR code, fill out that form, and it's basically a request for work to do for the suppression repair that we're working on. So that's available to everybody and all the landowners. If landowners are coming out and visiting with the folks doing work on their neighbors, they can enter that form in as well and get that work done. So trying to get everything accomplished that we can, that we know about, but if we don't know about it, can't do that. So if y'all could help us out with that, we'd appreciate it. Division Charlie, a lot of this work over here is fairly remote work. A lot of the dozer lines in this area or on the National Forest, there's not a lot of structures involved, but just a lot of dozer line. And they finished this line up right here, and then they walked the excavator all the way back up to the top, and now they're working up in this direction. So we got 4 excavators working. We got one here, one down a little bit lower, one in here, and one over in this area. So all of this area, they're just slowly trying to get all of this stuff worked out and move up to the north. Yesterday they did get ran out by the rains that came in. They just left the excavators there, picked them up in a UTV, pulled them out, and then whenever the rain went by, then they can get their operators back in there and back to work after the rains. Just don't want to get anybody stuck in there if the rains do come in hard. That was the same situation up in here. Here working on the Hamilton Trail. All of the heavy lifting has been done. They're just doing some cleanup work, and a lot of that stuff is down on this lower piece over here by just on the north side of Iron Gate. That stuff has been something they've been working on for a long time, and they're just cleaning up the trail right now, trying to get that finished. They've also got a couple of excavators working on this series of dozer lines that go up into this area towards Elk Mountain, and right now they're working up by Elk Mountain Spike, and then they got another excavator a little bit lower. Plan is to try to get all this stuff finished right here, and then start working back down this old dozer line that goes on the north side of where they've been working. All right, and moving into Division Hotel, we'll start with talking about this fire perimeter right here. So we have not seen any heat showing in probably the last 3 or 4 days. They did do a flight. We went and flew that area. We looked in there. We did not see any smoke showing, and then also infrared is not picking up any heat. So we're feeling pretty confident that this fire is not going to go anywhere right now. We're not going to put folks in there, but we're going to hold off just a little bit, make sure that nothing comes up. If there's some heat that shows up in some of this area, then we'll take a flight, we'll look at it, just make sure that there's nothing in here. This stuff over in here is very steep. A lot of this is kind of some cliffed out country. As you come up in here, on this side, all of this is a big bowl. It's a big country that has just lots of snags all through here in this big bowl, and all of this stuff that was in here that already burned was a lot of beetle kill, spruce, and true fir type stuff that just did not have a lot of live component in it. And when it burned pretty clean. But there's lots of snags that are burnt and snags that have not burned on the outside of that land. So it's not very safe to be putting people in there. And it's a good 2-3 hour hike just to get to this area right here and start going around that edge. So we're not going to put folks in there if we don't need to. Right now there's no need, just because there's no heat showing, there's no smoke showing, and feel confident right now that we're in a good spot, and we'll just continue to monitor that with aviation and through MODIS, and just looking for any hot spots that show up. But they are making good progress. In Division Oscar, this is a new division that we just plugged in a couple days ago, so they're still trying to get familiar with everything. A lot of these lines right in here haven't been quite scouted out yet. There has been quite a bit of work done right in here. We got a engine and a bobcat working behind structures. A lot of that line goes in and out behind the structures and the forest, and just trying to get all of that wrapped up. So as that gets wrapped up, then they'll move to the next structure or next piece of line. Plan is right now is to start up in this area and work down to the 518, and then get the 518 corridor going. So we got both of these operations going right now, and then they're looking at maybe plugging some equipment in here. Some of this area here has some logs decked on it that may need to be taken out prior to closing up that stuff, so they'll keep working on that, come up with a better plan as we get more information in this area. In Division Sierra, the Pot Creek Road, which we're calling it all the way across and out to the 434. This road here, they've got a couple of large dump trucks hauling gravel and trying to get this road all cleaned out and ready to haul. They're in this area right now. They're working from the west to the east. Made it about that far with that operation. They got a grader going in there as well. And then some of this stuff over here where they created some borrow pits for that to create gravel to fix this road, they're going back in there and rehabbing those. They've got one of them completed, another one that they're working on. That's all being done by hand, and a lot of chainsaw work and just cleaning up, making sure that everything is left as best as we can. This is the 442 road going all the way over here. Got started work on it a couple days ago, and they're working their way in from the west, working east, trying to get that plugged in. So the steeper ground in here that's real steep that could wash away, trying to get all that water barred and get all the slash put back on the line. That'll just slow down any kind of erosion that they have. Anything that's flatter ground, they're trying to leave that more open so that people can get in there and get fuel wood in the future. And so they're going to try to keep those areas open so that the public can get in there and get firewood. So a lot of work to be done in there still. And then as we go further up into this area, just a lot of scouting, make sure that there's no work left to be done before we pull out of this area. There's a series of this road and a few other things that we need to check on the map to make sure that there's nothing there that needs rehabbed. We do have up here on the 5 road going up top, we have a couple culverts. We're just waiting for that contract to get through so we can purchase those. Then we'll get those in place. Division X-ray is this whole area right over here. And the main focus right now is right here at the county line between Mora and Colfax. That there's a Lonesome Dove Ranch in this area, and then there's some other structures and a bunch of dozer line in here. Yesterday, as they were working in this area, they kind of got ran out, so they got back to the main road, and then were able to work building fence and doing more of the stuff with the hand crew that they have as well. A lot of work left to do. North Repair, they keep bouncing around back and forth. They've got work going everywhere. So all the way down from Ladue, Mora, Chacon, and up here around Christmas Tree Canyon, and this whole area, they're just going back and forth, helping out the landowners wherever needed, trying to get as much work done as they can. Some of that work they got to go back through just because the landowner wasn't available, and so they weren't able to talk to them, and later the landowner talked to them and they had to go back and fix some stuff. So being able to communicate with the landowners, making sure that we're meeting their objectives is key, and we definitely want to do that. So if you are one of those landowners and need some work done, just help us out and try to be available, show us what needs to be done, and we'll work with you as best we can to get that accomplished. So with that, we anticipate more rain every evening, and so we'll just continue to be ready to get out of the way if we have thunderstorms and that kind of stuff come in, and then be prepared to jump back in and get to work as soon as we can. So made a lot of progress, and crews are very busy and a lot of quality work, and they definitely enjoy serving the public and getting to meet the neat people in this area. So with that, I think that wraps up the last few days of work. Thank you.